offenses. I think that would go a long way.
Thank you. And you're
Thank you.
back.
Senator Schmitt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did have a couple of questions, but first I wanted to sort of make a statement here. As our aviation sector becomes more reliant on modern network solutions, the need for stronger, more resilient operating systems grows to protect against malign influences, both foreign and domestic. Today, we face a rapidly changing threat landscape. Cyber attacks against airports and airlines are growing and becoming more sophisticated. Whether it's a breach of sensitive data, disruptions to critical operations, or ransomware attacks that cripple entire systems, these threats have the potential to cause widespread disruption. While I do not disagree with the emphasis of this hearing today, I believe that we also must draw attention to the self-inflicted wounds and failures experienced by our nation's aviation system and the national airspace and national airspace under President Biden and Secretary Buttigieg's leadership. In January of 2023, the United States experienced its first nationwide ground stop since 9/11. This was the result of an input error to the Notice to Air Emissions NOTAM system by an FAA contractor, causing the entire NOTAM system to crash. As a result, thousands of flights were delayed and or canceled, stranding hundreds of thousands of passengers across airports across our country. One of the Biden administration's first actions under the leadership of Secretary Buttigieg was to change the name of the NOTAM system from the Notice to Airmen to Notices to Air Mission to be more inclusive. Americans who are flying want to know that their systems are safe and reliable, not whether or not if we name our systems to be more inclusive or not. This is a consistent lack of leadership and priorities from this administration. Is way more focused on virtue signaling than actually safety. Additionally, late last year, cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike implemented a faulty software upgrade it deployed to Microsoft Windows customers, crippling airline operations in the United States that led to nearly 3,000 flights being canceled in one day. Delta Airlines in particular canceled nearly 7,000 flights and faced issues for weeks from the software update failure. I make no mention of the increased number of near misses, mass cancellations, and issues faced by Southwest during the 2022 holiday season. Unfortunately, Secretary Buttigieg has shown blind willingness to prioritize woke ideology that values social, cultural merits over safety. I say all of this to validate that it's no coincidence that our aviation system faces its biggest inflection point right now. The American flying public deserves better leadership. And as I've stated over and over, this administration has failed time and time again. And by the way, Secretary Buttigieg has not been in front of this committee in 2 years that I've served on it. Mr. Brayald, I do have a question that I don't think this has been asked yet, but you know, TSA is in the process of deploying, you know, more biometric technologies at airports and at security checkpoints. If there is a cyber attack, how vulnerable is that data to hackers? This is one of these things that, like, we don't talk about much up here, but people back home, it's a question that they'll ask me is if they're signing up for Clear or something like that. How vulnerable is that very personal data?
So, Senator, thank you for the question. You know, there is no 100% solution in cybersecurity, and that would also apply to the biometric data that a consumer might share with TSA or as part of a Clear. And so I think that what that means is that each consumer has to do their own risk analysis on, I'm giving over, for me personally, and this is speaking for me, I don't sign up for Clear, particularly for those specific reasons. Because I'm unaware of how well they're protecting that data. And something like biometrics is, you know, I can't change my fingerprint, I can't change my face. That is a unique, persistent identifier of me. And while there may be good reasons to use that, and I think an argument can be made that biometrics can help prevent people from spoofing who I am and getting through TSA. I think Senator Blackburn was alluding to this in a question she had earlier. I do think there are legitimate concerns that consumers have, and so I think it's incumbent on all entities, including government agencies like TSA, that collect consumers' information, particularly the sensitive personal information. And I think biometrics has among the highest levels of sensitivity to protect that, because in the wrong hands, it can be used for harm.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Senator Welch and then Senator Rose.